In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at this third place game. So far, both of these teams have actually showed themselves very strong in these games so far. Unfortunately, getting knocked out by Clueless and something about Evelyn.
Something about Evelyn. Well, Evelyn is a stealth champion that constantly puts the bottom laner in a constant state of fear because they never want to extend past the center part of the screen. And if they do that, Evelyn can come up from behind. It's a little bit easier to deal with when that center relic is away from you, so she can only approach through your tower through the vision that feels stealth. And her damage is pretty darn good. She's really fast on top of that. Did you know anything else about Evelyn?
I was talking about the team name that had Evelyn in it, but that works too.
Okay. I just heard Evelyn was like, hey, I know about Evelyn. That's okay. Sometimes I run so far with a joke I trip over while I'm carrying it. This is going to be, pays Evelyn Child Sports in the finals. This consolation game is going to be Why Golly Why versus So Fonda Cox.
Yep. So, taking a look at some of the bans so far, Jarvan, Wukong, Kazdan, Kha'Zix, Nidalee, Fizz, all champions that we've seen quite a bit today. Fizz, we've only seen one game so far for today's tournament. I don't know about yesterday, but at the same time, he is a pretty strong champion. A lot of assassin potential as well as zoning with his Chum the Waters, which is also on a fairly short cooldown, I might add, so it's a very strong ability right there. And I'm also glad to see that Wukong is starting to get banned as well, because we've been seeing so many great Wukong initiations with, like you said, the Nimbus Strike into his ultimate. That combo is a very fast initiation, and it's very effective as well. So taking a look at some of the first picks, we have Elise, Jace, and Zyra, all champions that are really strong and that we've seen so far today as well. And it just seems like you can't have enough bans to ban out all of the champions that you want in Dominion.
No, but if I, just for pure personal preference, if I kick out 3 champions forever, it would probably be Fizz, Ezreal, and Soraka. I don't know why, I just don't like those 3.
So you wouldn't perma-ban Kazdan?
No. I mean, this is across all game modes. Those are the 3 champions that overall I like the least. Between Summer's Rift and ARAM and Dominion, I don't play too much trees. This is the consolation match. And what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is there's $100 on the line. The team that wins gets $100. The team that loses, that's it. You're out of the tournament and you don't get paid. So, in order to get paid, they have to win this game. This is a best-of-3 series. I want to know who you guys want to win. I want to see %Cox or %Golly in the chat. I want to see what the popular opinion is going to be. Because I am %Cox. Definitely. I like that team a lot. Generic is a really cool guy. And I think it'd be really nice to see him get a little bit of payout here.
Yeah, we'd probably have to agree with %Cox on that. They all seem like very nice people. I saw the pre-game lobby chat, and they're all very nice. They all have great attitudes, and we've also seen them play very well earlier today. So that's something that I want to see a little bit more of. I think they are pretty deserving of that. Let's take a look at some of the what people say in chat. A lot of people are going for %Cox, 1 or 2 for %Golly, and we also have 1 for %Cheese.
I'm sorry, Moloko, dude. Cheese Enema was already eliminated from the tournament, and I know it makes me sad too. I love commentating those guys. We have the picks screen a little bit more filled out. The bans, all pretty typical except for Fizz. The Fizz ban, he's difficult to deal with at times, and is a really bursty AP character. And sometimes it's easier to ban him than to deal with him. I don't know if that's a targeted ban or not. I think someone over on the other team does play some Fizz, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember which one. We're seeing Elise, we're seeing Malzahar as well. Nixay's 7 Malzahar. I don't know if that's going to go AD or AP. He can play them both ways. Malzahar doesn't discriminate. You know, you can do a bunch of different things with Malzahar, and he seems to excel in both. We're seeing Lee Sin as well, and Lee Sin's not seeing any of us, though, but that's okay, because he gives vision in a game mode. Lee Sin's ability to chase is great because it highlights targets, and that can be really helpful for letting your ranged character secure kills.
Yeah, it is, and one thing I would actually like to note about that Malzahar pick is that they actually picked it away from Nerdox, so he's going to have to decide to play something other than Malzahar. And Golly has actually decided to pick up the Blitzcrank, so I don't know, once again, too much about Dominion, but in Summer's Rift he is a fairly strong champion. Now, from what I can tell so far, from what I'm seeing in Dominion, I don't think Blitzcrank is going to have as big of an effect as he has in Summoner's Rift, because in Summoner's Rift there's a lot of poke wars, you know, you're trying to stay back and initiate the fights. Everything is such a careful calculation, whereas in Dominion, you want to be fighting as much as possible. You want to make sure that you get the advantage in terms of person, and if Blitzcrank pulls someone, then yeah, he gets CC'd for quite a bit, he gets unpositioned, but most of the time, the enemy team will be right there really quickly to follow up on it, and that's what I can gauge so far.
Well, Blitzcrank works, he works like that in the instance of if you're on a tower. Blitzcrank, if you don't want to push up on a tower that Blitzcrank's on, because if he grabs you and pulls you and CCs you into that, you take the extra tower damage, and your team might not necessarily be able to save you from being on the tower. But more importantly, what we see typically with Blitzcrank in Dominion is we see him build a lot more Bruiser style, where he will get a lot of attack damage and a little bit of tankiness, like kind of Bruiser, sometimes kind of like Glass AD occasionally, like Glass AD with a bunch of mana instead of health, so you can troll people by getting really low on health, baiting fights, having a huge mana barrier, and then winning. So we'll see like Yomu's Ghostblade and things on him occasionally. And what this does is...
Is that an item on Dominion?
More mana? Yeah, we have that. We have that over here. And what happens is Blitzcrank will fight in the jungle and things like that with the team, but what happens is he's an amazing chase. If you try to disengage from a fight, Blitzcrank will save that grab for that occasion. If someone tries to escape the fight, Blitzcrank will keep them in it. And if someone tries to run away, Blitzcrank can usually catch them. Plus, with a Sheen or a brutalizer like a Yomu's, the damage on his Power Fist is ridiculous over the course of a fight if he actually gets to sit there and deliver it.
Ooh, that's going to be pretty interesting. So now that we're in the 3-minute delay, we can see some of the summoner spells, and so far Jace is taking Cleanse. That's sort of the biggest discrepancy I see, but Caden has also taken Ghost, so that's another thing that I'm wondering a little bit about. Now, Ghost obviously allows you to get places really quickly, so Caden might want to make more action happen around the map. What?
Oh no, the chat was freaking out about something, a graphical issue. I don't know what could be causing that. I don't have anything going on my end.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna turn it off and turn it back on real quick. I mean, we have a couple seconds left, so give me a second.